Hello there everyone, and welcome to the Craft Your Life Project Kit Hello Beautiful Layering Guide video. So to start with, I am going to start with the first stencil, and this one is going to kind of colour in that flower that we have at the bottom and also the leaf cluster that I have in the corner. So for the base layer of the flower, you will have to move this stencil a number of times to fill it in. For this one, I'm using the beautiful Cloudy Sky ink. Once I have finished the base layer of the flower, I'm then going to shift the stencil over slightly, and I'm going to be using the Pumpkin Pie ink to add that base layer to the center. I'm then going to shift the stencil over again around the leaves, and for this one I'm going to be using the Marshland ink, so that's going to be for the base. I'm then going to shift the stencil over to the little leaf cluster that we have in the corner, and I'm going to add the base layer for this one again using that Marshland ink. Once I've done that, I then added the little tiny piece that was on the really underside of the leaf, and I've just added the Marshland pretty heavily for that one. I'm then going to take the second stencil and I'm going to add the detail layer to the flower. So I've just popped that into position, and I'm going to be using the Dark Night ink for that one. I can then add the flower center, so that's the second layer for that one, and I'm going to be using the yellow ochre for that one. I then moved back to the first stencil because I had missed one of the little leaves, and I just added that in with the Marshland ink. So I'm back to stencil 2 now, and I'm going to add in the darker layers to the leaves. And for this one, I will be using the Sea Forest ink, a really beautiful dusky dark color for this one. And I'm going to add the darker layer to these leaves too. I'm then going to shift the stencil over to the little flower cluster that we have at the top here, and I'm going to add the base layer with the Marshland ink. Once that's done, we're going to move on to the third stencil, and I'm going to be adding the base of these beautiful flowers using the Cloudy Sky ink again. So again, shifting the stencil around just to make sure that it fits in place. Once I've done that, I can then add in the second layer for the flowers, and again with the Dark Night ink for those. I'm going to shift that stencil, and again I'm going to add in the Pumpkin Pie for the base of the flower centers, and then the yellow ochre for the second layer. I can then add the darker colors to those leaves, and again I'm going to be using the Sea Forest ink. I'm then going to move on to the fourth stencil, and I'm going to be adding the base for the flowers on this large flower cluster that we have here with the Cloudy Sky ink. And I'm going to be adding the base of the leaves also using the same stencil and the Marshland ink for that one. Again, moving the stencil when needed just to make sure that I get all of the right parts of the flowers. So I'm just going to keep going with that one. This is the same stencil for all of the base images on this one. I'm then going to add the base image for the little flower center with the Pumpkin Pie. Then move on to the fifth and final stencil to add that dark color to the petals and leaves. So I've used the Dark Night for the petals and then the Sea Forest for the leaves. And then last but not least, I'm going to add the second layer to the little flower centers. And for this one, I will be using the yellow ochre ink. So that is all of the layering on this beautiful coloring stencil. We really do hope this video helps, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.